Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cup of Tea. I'm so delighted to say that I am joined by Angie Gira today. Thank you so much for joining me, Angie. I truly appreciate it. This is going to be a great episode, and I can't wait to get into things with you. Yeah, I just want to hand it over to you for a second, Angie, to do a little introduction about yourself, talk about how you got to this place where you are currently in your life now. I don't want to give anything away. It's all you. You tell the
Okay,
people. You tell the people.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be doing this. I know we connected a little bit on Instagram, and I'm really, really excited about this. So, a little bit about me. My name is Angie Gira. I am a life and a mindset coach. This journey started a whole while back, and I always like to say that I was my first real client, to be honest with you. I kind of went on my own self-discovery and journey and all of that, and dealt with it all on my own. And my coaching career is really driven by my vision to just make a positive impact on the world. And yeah, I love what I do, to be honest. I really, really do.
That is amazing. That is so powerful, honestly. That's actually a kind of a mutual aspiration that we share, to have that positive impact on the world. I think sometimes as well, you can get caught in a space where you're like, the world is too big, there's nothing we can do,
Yeah.
just let the system take over and change the world. But actually, we make up that system. We are part of, literally it's us.
Yeah, definitely.
And
It's such a ripple effect, it's the smallest things. And you don't have to, it would be great to change the world. I would love to change the world. But even if you're helping one person and that person goes on to help another, like, it brings you, to me, that's like true fulfillment, to be honest. Yeah.
amazing. So why mindset coaching?
So mindset is really my strategy. I believe it all starts with the mindset. We are what we believe, we are our thoughts, we are our actions, which is perfect for today's topic on limiting beliefs. So yeah, so it's really the strategy behind it. I feel like if we work on our mindset, just the possibilities are pretty much limitless.
Absolutely. I second that for sure. You said it there, limiting beliefs. When we were like throwing topics back and forth and whatnot, and you mentioned limiting beliefs, I went away and did my own research on that, and I said, "Oh, I know that, but I didn't know that there was a term for it." I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, because I wasn't familiar with the term, but I was familiar with the concept," and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! There's actually a term for it that can really help to break it down and help with identification of what people are going through." So let's jump straight into this. How would you, Angie, define limiting beliefs?
Yeah, 100%. Everything you said is so key, and this is why I really love this topic because, and it's in the name, right? The definition is in the name. When you read it or look into it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Mm,
And so, in plain simple terms, limiting beliefs are the thoughts we hold to be true, whether about ourselves, about other people, or even about the world, and those thoughts limit us. So it's in the name, really. They're limiting beliefs. And the strong point here is the word beliefs, right? Because when we believe something, when we hold a belief, right, we believe it, that's a fact that we hold. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. And that's why they're extremely, extremely powerful. And yeah, they limit us.
yeah,
We don't want that.
absolutely. When I was reading up about it, it mentioned online that they're purely, well, not completely, but they're mostly negative. These certain emotions and these beliefs, and like you hold them to almost this absolute truth, where it's like, no, it's not up for discussion. This is truth. It might be an opinion,
Exactly.
and it might just be the reality that you think you're in. And even though it is kind of an illusion in a way, you hold it to such a truth, whereby you live your life as if this is true. So if you believe something that's making you sad, making you down, that's now your lifestyle, because you believe it to be true and you believe you can't change that, you know. And I
100%.
was like, oh man. And then I really started thinking about all the limiting beliefs in my life, and I was like, I need to get myself together. um but yeah, Angie, could you give us some examples of limiting beliefs, maybe some you've seen before, maybe even some of your own, like what are the most common ones, for example?
Yeah, so something I want to just clarify, limiting, but we all have them, right? Some of, we have them in maybe we don't have them in every area of our life, but we definitely all have them. So this is something really important. I don't want people to think that, if you have them off, like you're flawed, or it's very normal for it to happen, because like you said, they happen because of our experiences. Something also that I think is key to touch on here, sometimes they're beliefs that aren't even ours. They've just kind of been embedded in us from other people. And now we're like, okay, that's just a fact. And that's the part kind of drives me crazy, because you stop and you think and you're like, do I even believe that?
And embedded
Like, is that
from
you?
society as well, from societal expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So some examples it can really be anything. It could be like, money comes hard. That's a very common one. Or I can't save, or I can't make a living from my art degree. Or, it can be a whole variety of different things. And, probably some of these things I'm saying might resonate with some people, and they have an automatic, but, and it is limiting you. And that's, I think, the first point we really need to recognize. It is limiting you, because you become closed off from the opportunities that can be right in front of you. Right.
Absolutely. What has been a limiting belief in your life?
Oh man. there's so
Yeah,
there's so many. I
I can
mean,
imagine. Yeah.
right. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it happens at different intervals too, right? Different intervals of your life. And so, for example, before I started my coaching career, I had a lot like, can I really do this? I want to make a positive impact on the world. Do I really? You said it yourself, the world is such a big place. Can I do that? Like, it's,
Yeah.
so all of these things, they do limit us. And it's just so crucial for us to recognize that it is limiting us. It's not, recognize that just because it's a belief that you currently have doesn't mean it's not changeable, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. There's hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it isn't limiting fact, it's limiting belief. And I think
Exactly.
that's the key word, isn't it? Belief, like you said, you know, belief. Like, I
Yeah.
believe that, like, we all have beliefs. Doesn't
And
mean
we all have different beliefs too.
exactly,
you know
exactly.
yeah.
One
Yeah.
of mine, which is very interesting, I know you had some there as well with your like career aspirations and whatnot, and I think those are all very natural, feelings to have, especially when you're
Yeah.
doing a career like that. And you talk about changing the world and stuff. It's a big saying. One of mine has been, as I was thinking about it more, reading up on it, one of mine has been like always feeling like I'm how do I explain? Like, always feeling like that potentially I could reach a level of success that I'm happy with, but always feeling like I'm just destined to fall short of it. Like, it's right there and I get so close, but then I'm always just gonna fall. I'm always gonna be the guy that never gets where he really wants to go. I'm always just gonna kind of be there, get to the cusp of it, and then just fall. Because I've had some of those experiences before where I just feel like, man, I was so close to achieving something that I really wanted to. It's been one of those where I'm like, is that just my life?
Yeah.
Is that just my life? Maybe it is that I'm just the guy that's just going to try and get to where he wants to go, that didn't just fall short, and then that's it. And then there's this just mundane essence to me, and I'm like, so yeah, that's definitely been something I've recognized about myself, where I'm like, that maybe that is because it feels like something that's been consistent in my life, falling short of success,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah.
I love that you shared that, honestly. Thank you for sharing that. And it's actually so true, because that is, most of us, that is when we recognize it. It's when certain patterns repeat, and then we're like,
Mm,
okay, 1 second, like, what is happening? How is this now? Like, what is happening to me right now? Or how am I here? How did I get here? That thought is usually when we start to recognize that there is something that isn't, that we should do differently. And the key point here is that also taking ownership, right? Because it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. It's one I struggled with for a very long time. I was like, things are just happening to me. It's not me. There's no way I caused this pain on myself or I caused myself to fail. We don't usually want to take ownership for these kind
Yeah.
of things, right?
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah,
That's so
it's so
true.
easy to,
A
yeah,
lot
to
of
just
people are
blame.
watching this like, oh, she's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
for real.
100%, 100%. You don't want to do it. It's just so much easier to go like, oh, the world is against me, or he did this and he did that, and how else
Why
could I have dealt
me?
with it? Why me? That's yeah, that's
I've had
exactly.
that. I've had the fair share of why me. Believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Me too, honestly. And I think, yeah, we all do. But it's yes, sometimes things happen that are out of our control. Pandemic, for example. Some
Mhm.
things happen we cannot control. Yes, I'm not denying that. But we can always control how we choose to react to it. Always. And that's the thing. This also kind of ties in a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. It's not that it's not when you overcome limiting beliefs that all of a sudden all your challenges go away and everything becomes easy. It's not a magic pill, right? It's just that you have this willingness to grow and learn and see how you can do better.
Mhm.
It's having, yeah, that drive really to just push through. It's okay. I'll learn, I'll do better. I'll learn, I'll do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, otherwise we just keep creating the same scenarios in new situations, which we don't want.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true.
Yeah.
And some people would say that, you know, the idea of like, like being in control of how we react to like limiting beliefs and whatnot is easier said than done. Some people would say that. So what would you say to those people, where it's like, oh, how do you just control how you respond? If I feel a certain way mentally, that's just how I feel. How can I control that? How can I control what I do, my reaction to that when I feel so out of control? What do you say to
Yeah.
people that say that?
Yeah, I would say it definitely can be done. Is it easy? Is it overnight? No, it is a journey. It is, and it depends, right? It depends how deeply rooted some of those beliefs are. But it 100% can be done. And it goes back into, I mean, okay, so our brains literally change because of, our thoughts and our actions through neuroplasticity. And they create these pathways, and the ones we strengthen become stronger, and the ones we don't, the ones we use more frequently, I mean, become stronger, and the ones we don't use as frequently, or the thoughts we don't think as frequently, or the actions we don't take as frequently, they're lost. They're just lost. So so how does this tie in? So if I'm constantly thinking, I can't, it's really hard for me to make money. It's really hard for me to make money. That is just a thought. That's a pathway in my mind that I'm constantly strengthening. I'm
Mm,
giving it power.
mm,
So, and it's not going to benefit me. But if I rewire that, and rewiring it does take time because it's been strengthened, right? So that's why it takes time, but it can be done. So change it. One of my favorite ways is affirmations. And I mean,
mm.
I do them every day. So write down affirmations, say them out loud, and you can switch them. So if you think, I can't make money, be like, money flows into my life, and say it day in and day out, and strengthen that pathway in your mind,
Mm.
and it will make a difference for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned affirmations there, and actually I've
Yeah.
been looking into that more. I actually bought like a diary. I don't know where it is now, but I bought like a diary to write some of those down actually. And actually I went to I had a series of panic attacks in 2019, and off the back of that I went to therapy. And we spoke about like having like a worry. It was like from like I guess you could say it was like a amalgamation of like internalized negative thinking. Like, I'm not good enough, certain things like that, and it all just accumulated into like a panic attack. And I went to, off the cusp of that, I went to therapy and whatnot, and I've mentioned this so many times now, but I went to therapy, and she spoke about getting a diary and writing down some of those negative thoughts, you know, when they come to you. And actually, some of those negative thoughts were limiting beliefs now that I think about it. You know, I didn't have the term back then, but now I do, you know, and it was like feeling so stuck, you know, like I can't get out of
Yeah.
this. This is an immovable essence in my life. And,
Yeah.
you know, what do you think about that though? Like writing that, using some time, she mentioned like having 20 minutes in a day, writing down all the negative thoughts, worrying about them for like that 20 minutes straight, and then ripping up the paper and throwing it away. Do you think that is a useful tool in something like this?
Definitely, definitely. I'm a big advocate of processing your emotions. Don't ignore what you're feeling or suppress them. They're really important. And whether it's, you know, the method, I think I love writing down. I'm a big fan of writing down, especially on pen and paper. I love it. But it's important for people to find what works for them. Some people, you know, prefer writing down. Some people, you know, need a minute to kind of talk about it or talk to themselves about it, look in the mirror, have a conversation, or talk to a friend. Whatever it is, find the you know, channel that works best for you. We're all different, but yeah, I love writing down, and I think that's quite powerful, especially the ripping it up and, you know, being like, you know what, no. And something I actually do similar to that, but I add an extra step, is disproving. So I think it was Tony Robbins that said this: we can always find evidence to anything we say. So if I say, if I'm making a statement, chances are I can find evidence to support it, right? And so if you have a limiting belief or a negative thought, write it down or say it out loud, and then find evidence to disprove it.
Mm.
2 to 3 reasons is great, right? And you're like, okay, you know, maybe that isn't true, right? Because we're trying to switch. You're trying to switch the mindset, right? Give it a different perspective. So I think disproving them is another really powerful tool to use there.
Absolutely. I'm going to write that down, actually. That's a good one.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm going to get that. I'm going to get on that straight away.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that is a really good one. And I've heard that before. And it's just like, real, why haven't you done that? You know, yeah, absolutely. You know, I think it's great to challenge your thoughts, you know, and actually like examine the validity of them, you know, by looking at it more rationally
Exactly.
instead of like
Yeah.
believing it, whatever, you know. And so
100%.
I just want to ask you then, to just run us through, if you can, run us through a couple of things that you think could. I know you mentioned some already, but if you have any more, that would be great. You know, that could help someone manage their limiting beliefs. You know, if you have any other methods that could help people, what would you recommend?
Definitely. So I think always start with a timeline. You want to find a pattern of when these negative beliefs have been happening, right? It's really important. Again, your timeline, you can do that by journaling, you can do that by just thinking through, but really give that part of it time. Because the thing about limiting beliefs, they're so subtle, and we don't notice them. And we don't notice them till that example you said, till you notice, you know, there is a major shift and you're like, okay, what is happening right now? You know, something's a little bit off here. So I think this is why it's an example I like to use here is actually, you know, you ever had one of those moments where you're, you know, driving your car back home from work and you're lost in thoughts, and then you're all of a sudden home and you're like, how the hell did I get here? Like, what the
Get
hell
into
just
a flow
happened?
state, yeah.
That is exactly, I don't want to say exactly, but that's very similar to how limiting beliefs work. It's not always that obvious. It's not like this like flag waving, you know, like you're limiting yourself, right? They're super subtle. So this is why it's important to kind of think back and try to realize what are scenarios that have, you know, not been favorable, that have been repeated in your life, and what's the belief that is common there. You know, is it that I'm not worthy to have a, you know, a successful career? What is holding you back there? Yeah. So really spend time on your timeline. I think that's a great place to start, because spotting them is the hardest part. And
Yeah.
once you do, yeah, definitely, you know, because it's hard. And again, then we don't want to take ownership as well. So it's almost like we don't want to do it, right? There's a lot of resistance there. We just got to be, give a moment for yourself to be truly, truly, truly honest with yourself for the sake of developing and, doing better by yourself. And it will
Mm.
work. I promise.
Yeah.
you know
Absolutely.
so yeah, and then once you do that, it becomes easier to spot them. Like for now for me, I can spot them quite easily, and I'm like, okay. And I would either do an affirmation, I would either disprove them, or one I really like is definitely talking to someone. I'm a talker. I like to talk, so
That's good.
I it's how I process. So again, it's really depending on what is your best channel to use. What's your outlet that you can really think through this, find your root, always find your root, and then find different ways to kind of, whether it's an affirmation or a little dance or talking to someone or whatever it is, but there's a flip side for it, and then train that constantly so you strengthen it.
Oh man, you really got into a zone there, Angie. Oh man, that's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
very passionate about this, if you can tell.
Yeah. You gave me all the promo clips in that short section. I was like, I'm gonna use that and that and that and that. That is awesome. That is awesome. Oh man, I like how you related that to your own personal experience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it very relatable, very honest and authentic. Thank you for sharing that. That's really
Oh, of
amazing.
course. Yeah, it happens to everyone.
Yeah,
Literally.
absolutely. I mean, I hope it's helped other people, and it's, I can tell it's definitely helped me. This
I'm glad.
just doing this. Angie, thank you so much for joining Cup of Tea today. Even though you didn't bring a cup of tea, I forgive you.
Here's some Zach.
I forgive
I
you.
have a little water bottle. Does
Okay,
that count
okay,
for something?
okay. That's fine. You've compensated.
There's tea inside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't need to be a mug. You're fine. Listen, Angie, thank you so much. How can people connect with you? How can people get in contact with you? They might want to work with you. They might want to, network with you. How can people find you?
Definitely. So they can go to my Instagram. It's Angie Gira, and it'll be available. And just send me a DM, or you can book. I have a free call. My first calls are free, so we can chat over a call. We'll have a cup of tea, And yeah, and thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. But you know what? Don't go anywhere just yet, because we are going to end on this.
Okay.
Okay. Angie, one day you open your eyes, okay? And you're
Okay.
on a desert island, okay? You're on a desert island. Got me?
Okay.
Okay. So then you're walking along, right? You're walking along, and you have sand in Dubai, so you know what it's like to walk on sand, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And I'll tell you where you're walking. You're walking down that awkward wet patch where the ocean hits. You're walking on the soggy sand, and then eventually you're walking. Then you hit your foot on something, and you're like, ah. It's like a really painful. It's the pinky toe. It's always the pinky toe.
Always.
Always, yeah, of course. What else toe?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Honestly.
pick it up, right? You pick up this thing that you hit your foot on, and it's a lamp, okay? Very similar to the lamp from Aladdin, okay? And then you rub the lamp, of course, right? And poof, a genie appears out of the lamp, Angie. Can you believe it? Okay. And the genie says to you, oh my gosh, it has been a long 20,000 years in that lamp. Okay. And he's like,
I'm loving this. I'm so intrigued right now.
I can see your face. You're like, what is
Yeah.
this guy talking about?
Yeah, I'm like in the story right now. Okay.
Yeah. So the genie comes out of the lamp, right? And he says, it's been a long 20,000 years in there, Angie, right? So he's very angry. He's very upset that someone has locked him away for 20,000 years. I mean, that's a long time for, even if you're a genie, with magical powers, that's a long time. So he's angry, but he's also grateful to you for letting him out the lamp. Okay. So he's going to take, he says to you, Angie, I am going to take your voice away from you. Okay. He's going to steal your voice. Boop, boop. Okay. You can You don't look too happy about that.
No, no, I'm very sad right now.
So what?
I don't even know how I'm gonna answer you after
Yeah.
this. But let's. Okay, my voice is gone.
Yeah, it's done. You have to. So you will never be allowed. Well, you'll never be able to speak again. Okay, because you won't have a voice anymore. Okay, you take your voice off, so you can never, ever, ever speak again. However, okay, because you've let him out of the lamp, he is going to allow you to say one final thing, sentence, phrase, whatever you want to say. And that phrase that you say is going to be echoed across the entire planet. Everyone is going to hear what you're about to say, Angie. It's going to be translated into every language. Everyone on the planet is going to hear it, billions of people. But that's the last thing you can say before the genie takes your voice away. So the question is, what do you say to the entire world?
Oh wow.
No pressure.
No, honestly, my last everything.
Yeah.
No, but I think honestly, I think it's for people to find what makes them truly happy. So find true happiness, not temporary happiness, true happiness. And
Oh,
do it, be it, live it, you know?
hey.
I probably, if it was my last sentence, I would definitely ramble. Like I would not, you know, there'd be, yeah.
He's like, you got one sentence left, and you're like, well, how long have you got, mate?
Yeah, yeah.
I can go on.
Yeah.
Angie, amazing. Do it, be it, live it, guys. You heard it here first. Thank you so much, Angie. Appreciate you very much for joining. And listen, it'd be great to have you back on the show sometime. Thank you so much for joining me. Anything you'd like to say?
Thank you for having me. No, just thank you so much. Honestly, it's been such a pleasure, and I hope everybody likes this episode, and I hope we gain value.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Take care of yourself, everyone.